Chapter 7 The Bull. The two boys arrived in their arts and crafts. "Look who's late. You'll make for a perfect crew," Lockhart exclaimed. Harry and Ron had no idea what he was talking about. "Come on, guys, we're going to the Chamber of Cars," Lockhart told Ron and Harry. Harry and Ron looked to each other puzzled, but followed Lockhart out of the classroom. As they walked down the hallway, they saw a crowd of students and teachers looking at a message on the wall. "Her skeleton will lie in the chambers forever." Nobody quite knew who it was referring to, but the message was not in blood. It looked burned in as if a laser. "Where do you think you're going?" McGonagall asked Lockhart. "Oh, me and the boys are heading down to the Chamber of Cars to be the heroes of the story." He smiled. "Oh, okay," responded Athena. Dean and Seamus were in the group and came over to Harry, Ron, and Lockhart. "We're coming too," they said. "The more the merrier," Lockhart exclaimed. Leading the way, Lockhart had led them to the girls' bathroom. Everyone was confused. They heard intense moaning coming from one of the stalls. "I think we should get inside quickly then," said Lockhart. He turned on an old slimy sink, and as it began to fill, the sink lowered and revealed a slide. Lockhart went down the slide first. "Whee!" he screamed enthusiastically. All the others slid down after him. They arrived in a small room with a large door. Seamus stepped forward. He raised a large grenade and threw it at the door.
In the spring of 2007, the Chicago Fire Department launched actually 20 buildings in nuclear homestead.
There's a reason why it's not
Robert Taylor helped me bring
He threw it at the door. The door blew open, and the five of them walked through. "Where'd you go?" Harry asked Seamus, noticing it had been different from his usual grenades. "I got it when Filch took me and Dean to the headmaster's office." "What a great place." "It's the Slytherin grenade, and it can only be used by a real Slytherin," Seamus explained. They went into the next room, which was full of old rusty car parts. There was a tunnel at the head. Lockhart lunged at Ron and wrestled his broken tranquilizer gun from his hands. He aimed it at them. "The adventure ends here, boys," Lockhart announced. They all looked at him in bewilderment. "I am the real hero here. Say goodnight." He aimed the tranquilizer at Ron first, and when he pulled the trigger, the gun exploded and sent him flying upwards, hitting the roof, causing an avalanche, and the ceiling came crumbling down. The only dart in the gun hit Lockhart, and he passed out on the ground. Dean and Ron had been separated from Harry and Seamus by the collapsed ceiling. Only Harry and Seamus could advance forward, so they did. They went through the tunnel. At the end, it opened into a large cavern. In front of them was a small town. It was Radiator Springs from Cars.
Radiator Springs.
Cameron, you should pay attention to this.
Tractors were mooing, and everyone was enjoying life. Harry and Seamus walked through the town and towards the end of the cavern. They were shocked at what they saw. A young child had been decapitated and was laying dead at the end of the road. "You're too late," said a voice. The two looked up, and at the end of the cavern, on the wall, was a poster of Zac Efron. But then, something bizarre happened. Zac stepped out of the poster. Zac Efron!
This feels like one of those, what is it called? The fill in the blank things? Whatever.
Mad Libs.
Yeah, Mad Libs, where you just fill in like the blanks.
Harry and Seamus exclaimed,
Yeah.
"No, I've just been trying to use my poster of him to gain a physical form. It's actually me, Tom Riddle," he smirked. Then Harry and Seamus noticed something under his arm. It was Ginny's head. "Why are you holding Ginny's head?" Harry asked in alarm. "I thought it would have proved most useful," Tom grinned. "Let me explain," Tom said. "I knew Ginny had laser eyes, so I needed her on my side. I gave Draco's dad that diary long ago. who gave it to Draco, who gave it to Ginny. The Malfoys believed it would be the secret to opening the Chamber of Cars. I told Draco not to tell anyone. He had my diary. Ginny began telling me all her problems and trusted me. I said she could meet me if she went to the Chamber of Cars. I told her how to get in, and she met my poster. I asked her to do some favors for me so I could leave this poster. She loved me so much and wanted me to be free. She did what I told. She helped me release my monster. She wrote all those messages on the walls, but sadly, she realized what she was doing was wrong. She tried to get rid of the diary in the girls' bathroom, but by then, I was strong enough to take matters into my own hands. I killed Ginny Weasley and took her head so I could continue my plans. I thought Ginny would make a great second cover-up after Hagrid 50 years ago. Oh well, Tom frowned. I can't believe they still believe he killed that girl. She kept flirting with me, so I had to get rid of her.
Tyler.
Tom added. Moaning Myrtle! Harry spoke up. Tom nodded. You framed Hagrid. You're the heir of Slytherin, Harry exclaimed. Oh, foolish boy. The history books were rewritten years ago. There is no heir of Slytherin. Did you really think Justin, a Slytherin himself, would be attacked if he was a Slytherin? Tom exclaimed. I am the heir, but the heir of Sweden, he added.
Dude, this is gonna be me making the audiobook for the Underground. And, like, I shouldn't be laughing right now, because, like, in a couple of years, when I finish the Underground, this is gonna be me making the audiobook for Audible.
All the bad stuff you heard about Salazar, that was Pewds, Tom admitted. The Malfoys wanting to get rid of gun fakers, even though they share the same house. But I don't care about silly gun fakers. What I care about is you, Harry Potter.
Oh no.
Harry was confused. I am going to kill you, Harry Potter, just like Voldemort tried to kill you as a baby, Tom shouted. Why do you care about Voldemort? Harry asked. Tom grinned and turned around. He raised Ginny's decapitated head. He squeezed it, and lasers shot from her eyes. Tom began writing something in the air using her lasers. Tom Marvolo Riddle, he wrote. He waved a hand over the words, and the letters rearranged themselves. They now read, Mr. Tom.
Whoa, what?
They now read, Mr. Tom had killed Bill. Harry and Seamus laughed. No! Tom shouted. He rearranged the letters again so that they now read, I am Lord Voldemort. Harry and Seamus were shocked. He lost his body the night he tried to kill you, Harry. That is why he needed Squirrel. That is why I have been trying to get a new body, Tom explained. Now, I shall unleash the monster upon you. And your friend, Tom said. As Zac Efron would say, we're all in this together. He cackled. As the back of the cavern opened, a giant harvester machine with eyes and a nose ring rolled into view. It was Frank from Cars. He charged towards them, ready to rip them to pieces. Seamus threw the Slytherin grenade at the giant machine, and he exploded into a million pieces. Harry picked up one of the bull's blades and went over to the empty poster. Harry sliced the blade through the poster and watched as Zac Efron, Tom Riddle, began to disappear. He writhed in pain, and Harry noticed that he was appearing back on the shredded poster, but this time he could not move. Seamus picked up Ginny's head and decided to keep it. Harry and Seamus saved the day, and Justin and Mrs. Norris had been healed and restored. Another year over.